Now then, people, welcome back to All Leeds TV. Welcome back, or welcome to your live post-match phone-in show. We've, of course, got the Statman Phil with us as well. We're going to go through that game. Pretty drab in the end, although it was an all right. I enjoyed it as a 0-0, I guess. It was a bit nervy towards the end, but look, end of day, we are now undefeated in April. We are undefeated in 6. We are undefeated against Big Six at home. You know, if you'd have told me, you know, prior to that Chelsea game that we would have been undefeated in 6, playing Chelsea, Fulham, Sheffield United, Liverpool, Man City and Man United, I'd have said, you're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. But the fact that we've gone now 6 games undefeated, picked up points, still in the hunt, you've got to be buzzing with that. And we'll go to it before I come to Phil for his initial reaction. Let me remind everyone, the video is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped, you can get 20% off and free shipping using the promo code AllLeadsTV. It's uk.manscaped.com. Make sure you check them out. The link is in the description. Phil, talk to us, mate. Congratulations as well, Phil. You've just found out you're having a baby.
Boy.
Baby boy. Congratulations. Yeah. Based on that performance, what are you going to call him? Is there any stars?
Oh, mate, I
Diego.
Said this is whoever scored, that's the name.
Oh, really?
So, we're going to call it clean sheet, I think. So.
What would you have done if, say, Edison Cavani would have scored?
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen, though.
No.
No, only a Leeds player, obviously. I was hoping to get Stuart Dallas. I even had a bet on. I said Leeds to win 1-0, Dallas to score, preferably after 90 minutes. I thought towards the end, yeah, it was a little bit squeaky bum time. I don't want to use his phrase, but it wasn't enjoyable. Thank you. It wasn't an enjoyable game, let's be honest. It wasn't. I mean, there was bits of it that were like the basketball kind of thing, where it was one end to the other, and it was entertaining. It was interesting. Go on, girl. Yeah, no.
She was wanting Costa to score. She wanted him to be called Helder. That's what
Helder.
Mate, you know for a fact what she wants to call it.
Yeah.
She wants to call it Janny, doesn't she?
Yeah. No, you'd have to go for S-Jan. You'd have to go S-Jan.
She'd call it Janny, give her half a chance. So, yeah. I'm glad he didn't score today anyway. But no, I thought, to be honest, at times, when we possessed the ball, we looked more dangerous than them, I think, with the way that we tried to create chances. I thought they pinged a diag, or they got given a shitload of free kicks that they probably didn't deserve on the edge of our box. No. I mean, I'm sure we'll come to this at some point, but there has to be somebody, it wasn't me, that counted how many times that whistle was in his bloody mouth.
Yeah.
Because he was never out of it. And this game, for me, had a big similarity to the City game in that I thought that it was quite an injustice, not to the same level, but the penalty that could have been given, that gets given against us. And every single free kick they lay down, they asked the referee for it.
Yeah, he gave
every
it.
throw-in, everything got given to them. And I thought that injustice, we'd sort of see a similar end that we saw against City, I hoped anyway. But a point to point, we've got 5 out of the last 3, which were, I remember you saying like a good month or 2 ago, Joe, these were the games you were looking forward to. And we all thought we would nick 1 result maybe.
Yeah.
We've nicked 3. So it's been a fantastic month.
And amazing month, Oscar. And obviously now we look ahead. We've got 5 games against teams that we can get wins off. The dream is still alive. The dream is still alive. You've got to believe that. But I agree with Phil, Oscar. You know, the referee, he had a shocker. I think the amount of times, and I kept saying it, the amount of time Greenwood hit the deck and screamed and asked for things it was a joke. I do think it wasn't a penalty. I agree. Maybe it might have been given the other way, but I thought it's soft. But we've seen worse given this season. If we're being honest, you've only to look at Callum Wilson's equaliser that was chalked off yesterday for a handball. It's a similar sort of thing, really. It's just he's attacking the ball as opposed to defending it. But the referee was pretty poor today, wasn't he, Oscar?
It was, but it didn't matter in the end. I think you go back to December, I don't think we're either A, capable of getting a result of that in that kind of game, or playing that kind of way in a game like that, or B, we'd be able to hold on. We'd have that confidence to hold on in that kind of situation. Pre-Juventus at the back and Dallas in midfield, we simply weren't capable of performances like this. I think KP today, the difference between his performance in December to today, chalk and cheese, totally different. He was fabulous today. He was absolutely fabulous today. He broke things up in the middle of the park, as did Juventus, as did Ayling. And it was a workman-like performance today. I think what we've got to consider as well is the intensity of that game against Liverpool. We just played probably the second highest pressing team in the league after ourselves on Monday night, and had a really tough first 45 minutes where we're being run ragged for a long period of that first 45 minutes of Monday. Man United have had an extra day's rest on us. We've come off the back of a really intense game of football, and we've gone in and we've put a performance in like that. Today, I think you could say we were nowhere near as ambitious as what we have been in previous games.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. It was a bit like the Chelsea game for me, in terms of we always looked in relative control. Sometimes we dropped a little bit too deep, but we looked in control of it. I don't think Man United will point to the stats. I'm sure Solskjaer will point to the stats and that lot, a couple of chances on set pieces. But I actually think a point was fair. I actually do think a point was a fair reflection.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to dig out this guy here, Infinite TK, who was giving it big licks ahead of the tie, saying we were going to get walloped and stuff. Listen, you're saying, what does the ref have to do with the result? Excuses again, mate. We're happy. We've got a point against the best team in the world, apparently, according to you. It's you guys that have dropped points, mate. So it's you that needs to be in the mud. Coming back after giving it big licks. What score was it? You didn't win. You didn't win the game, bro. You didn't win the game. On your bike. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, though.
But then go on your bike. Go on your bike afterwards.
Yeah, on your bike afterwards. On your bike. But yeah, look, how good was Calvin today for you, Phil? I thought, listen, the challenges. There was some real bite there. He was putting people in the bin, people on the deck. McTominay, bang. You know, it was glorious to see. I thought he was exceptional today.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's I think for me to not give Calvin Phillips man of the match at the moment would be a surprise. I've given it every game for the last 3-4 games. I think since he's come back in from having a little bit of, what was it? He had 3 games out through injury and we missed him so badly. And then since he's come back in, everyone dug Struijk out while Struijk had that position, and everyone's dug everyone else out that's tried to play that position. It's not a slight on these people that they can't do what Calvin Phillips does. That is his role. That is a role that revolves around everything that makes Calvin Phillips what he is. It's the energy that he has, the determination. He's got that Yorkshire grit in there, but he's also got an engine on him. He's got talent. His passing over the last few weeks has been ridiculous, but today I thought, defensively, more than anything else, I thought he was better defensively today than he's been in any of the last 5 games. I think, to be honest, you'd struggle to sort of pin a man of the match down for me out of any of the back 6. I mean, maybe not Meslier, he didn't do as much as the defenders, but the back 4 and Calvin were just unbelievable to a man. I think they were so solid, absolutely every single one of them. So, yeah, Calvin, mate, if he don't start at the Euros, then I don't know why Gareth Southgate is wasting this much time at Ellen Road. I honestly don't. He's obviously watching maybe a little bit of Bamford, Harrison, whatever, but I think he's looking at Calvin and thinking, look, I don't care what other people say about you. You are good enough to start in this Euros. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I think that's the main thing for me is, defensively, we're where we need to be. In terms of personnel that we've got, and
we're above where we need to be.
Yeah, above. Of course we can improve. We can improve, but I think in terms of bodies and options defensively, we're perfect at the minute. I even think the inclusion of bringing Koch on for Pogba didn't touch it. Pogba didn't touch it.
That was planned, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We said in there thinking that was definite plan. When Pogba comes on, we put Koch on him.
I think he makes a great point there, Phil, about defensively we were good, but in terms of the issues where we were always going to be lacking going the other way, without Rodrigo to call upon, without Raphinha, and then Costa got injured and he didn't go to Somerville, he went to Click, so these lads aren't ready yet in Bielsa's eyes. So we need Raphinha back, we need Rodrigo back, because if we have them, then we create a lot of chances today for me on the counter and we maybe nick it.
Yeah, exactly. I think just to talk about the defence, I thought it was absolutely superb as a four. I think they did really well. Certainly, second half, Strauch and Alioski were absolutely superb second half, and both fullbacks narrow, absolutely spot on. We just didn't allow them anything. But going forward, I think that is the sign, isn't it? I think you look at the team today. I mean, obviously out wide, we know when Raphinha's at the team, we know we're always going to miss him. We know we're always going to miss him. I think the only player on that pitch today who was capable of creating anything was probably Harrison, but Harrison wasn't at it for me today. Going forward, he wasn't at it. Defensively, he did his job really well, but going forward, he wasn't quite at it. A couple of times he wasted passes on the counter and that lot. I didn't really feel like anyone else was going to open up the game, in terms of other than kind of Harrison. And that's where you maybe look at the midfield, KP, Stewie D, and Tyler, three great lads. Any manager would love to have that kind of work rate in the midfield, especially Dallas and Calvin in terms of the work rate they give you. But it's not the most creative midfield three. I think you certainly look at it and think, out the three, probably Tyler's the one you want to create a little bit more. But there's a couple of times today he wasted chances on the counter. And that's where it is now. Progression-wise, we know now defensively we look okay. We're happy with our centre-backs. We're happy with Calvin. He's settled into this league absolutely fine. Mellier's rock solid. Crucial save, and that's just at the end of that first half. Great hand on it, on that shot from Rashford. We're happy with that. I think the winger-wise, Harrison's dropped off a little bit last couple of weeks, but we've got Raphinha. We know there's enough there. I just think in that middle of the park, a playmaker in that middle of the park, almost doing the Pablo role. Like, look at last season. If Pablo wasn't there last season, towards the end of it, we might not have won promotion as easily. We still would have gone up, but not as easily. We went up by 10 points in the end, but Pablo was a crucial player in the end of the season. The tight games, Swansea, Barnsley, etc., Fulham, Pablo stood up in those moments. We now need that replacement for Pablo, because we know Pablo's, unfortunately, he's not going to be staying on next season. This is where, is it a Rodrigo de Paul? Is it a Ricky Puig from Barcelona? We're going to have to find someone. And I think that is something we're going to do in the summer. And that's where, in that type of game, where it's quite tight, you can say the same about the Chelsea game. You can say the same about a couple of games. Having that number 10 who can open up the game a little bit more in transition and catch these teams out. Because Man United, they left a lot of space for us. I thought Click, to be honest, when he came on, kind of was put into that kind of role to kind of play make. It's not kind of his job. I don't think he's as used to doing it, but I thought he did it okay. I actually thought we had a couple of openings through Click. In the start of the season, when he's through a goal like he was late on, and he cuts onto his left foot, I think he buries that past Henderson, to be honest. But I'm happy. I am really happy with what we've done today. Of course, we could have won the game, but the progression's there. We get this recruitment sorted out. We get a left back who can offer that little bit more going forward. That number 10. I think seriously we are moving forward. I think we're the best placed team outside that top 6 to kick on. I genuinely do believe that. People might hate me for this. I might get a lot of hate in the comments, but I actually think we're closer than the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Listen,
I genuinely think we are closer now to kicking on than those two teams. It might not play out that way, but if we get our recruitment right, we get another Raphinha in that number 10 role, I think we're kicking on. I really do.
Look at the table. You're definitely right about one of them at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think, just how great we have been. That's now 10 clean sheets for Ilya Mellier. We know that he broke, Joe Hart's record earlier in the season. Phil, give us that start. He's made it 10. And are you happy, Phil, with the current style that's been adopted against the Big Six to ensure that we're staying in games? And we didn't. Because there has been a definite switch up, mate. We know that, if you look at even, I'm going to quote your stuff, the XG, if you compare the XG in the early parts of the season to now, it's totally different because there has been tweaks and he's keeping us in games. He's giving us a platform. Yeah. And I much prefer that, mate. I don't know what you feel.
Put it this way, we've got a very different scenario today than what we had at Old Trafford. At Old Trafford, we finished the game with XG that shows that it should have been a hell of a lot closer than 6-2. And we got praised to high heavens by the pundits and commentators about the brand of football and the basketball feel of Leeds matches. But we all still came away, or I came away from that game frustrated because that's the one game that I don't want to see us get our arse handed to us. And Bielsa had a choice as to whether we continue to go with the style of play that we all love seeing. And get handed 5-0 losses every now and again, but make sure we're going to smash the lower teams and do it that way. Or everyone said that he's so belligerent and he'll stick by his laurels and he won't change. And he's changed. He's done the perfect thing. And if you would have said to us after that game at Old Trafford that in April we will take 5 points from these 3 games, we'd have all been laughing, said not possible because Bielsa's not going to change. We're going to do this every time. We're going to beat the little teams. We're going to get absolutely hammered by the bigger teams. And we would have all sat here and gone, Pogba's 90 million quid, Harry Maguire's 80 million quid. You've got money, we've got nothing. That's why you beat us. But we're not sat saying that today. We can sit here and we can still talk about the fact they bought a £90 million player off the bench. We can say that they've got an £80 million centre half. But end of the day, we've given them very little, I think. There's Solskjaer, sorry, Oscar. Like Oscar
you just called me Ollie then.
Yeah, sorry.
Just called me Ollie then.
So like Oscar said, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be saying we've had 20 odd shots on target, not on target, 20 shots. And I don't remember a single clear-cut chance where I thought Mellier's been. He made a great save from Rashford's free kick towards the end of the first half, stretched himself a bit.
They didn't carve us open, did they?
No, but that's the thing. When
one
we
time,
we did.
The Lindelof ball over the top after about 5 minutes into Rashford. That's probably one time.
But they never like with City when we played City, and I said usually from City you expect get to the byline, cut it back, tap in. We didn't let them have that, and the same with Man United today. The things that we all see on Match of the Day that they're so good at. Cavani's movement. I didn't see anything when he came on.
I mean, he only had 5 minutes, but I agree. Just flash up Michael 20's comment. Yeah, we are having Dom members chat on, guys. Don't worry, we're just doing a little bit ourselves. I will get the link out there ASAP. I just didn't want you sat in the waiting room for so long, because you just sit there for ages. I was thinking, let us do it, and then I'll put it out. So Don level members, as always, will be joining us shortly. I just want to praise the main man, Calvin Phillips. I think just LUFC data has put out some numbers. 84.8% pass accuracy, 73 touches, 39 out of 46 successful passes, 13 ball recoveries, which was the most on the pitch, 11 ground duels won, 8 out of 8 tackles won, most on the pitch, 6 out of 7 successful long passes, 3 chances created, 2 successful take-ons, 2 interceptions, 2 clearances. Absolutely outstanding, and he absolutely pocketed
He was
Bruno.
all right, wasn't he? He was decent, wasn't he, today, Calvin?
Yeah, he was great.
He was all right, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was great. Yeah,
that was a terrible attempt at sarcasm, that wasn't it? He was absolutely.
Okay. I thought, as you were saying it, I'm thinking, have I said he had a poor game or something?
That was a terrible attempt at sarcasm. That
it was.
He was steel-like today, wasn't he? Yeah. He was steel-like that in front of the back four. He never. What I loved about it was, it was a proper. It was like watching David Batty in a Man United game back today. It was like watching when he had to bully people, he bullied him. Yeah. When he had to show out a little bit of quality and that little bit of cool heads, he showed it. He wasn't the captain today, but if you're ever going to make a case for Calvin Phillips being the captain of Leeds United, it's performances like that and Liverpool. Big games, showing up in the big games and putting players like Fernandes
in his back pocket.
As many people done as look at Man United beat City. Fernandinho did nowhere near as good a job on Bruno Fernandes as what Calvin did today. This is the thing. He's doing it against elite players now. The criticism of Calvin at the start of the season was, he's playing of non-Leeds fans. Non-Leeds fans, by the way, they always pointed out and said, he can't do it against the good players. He can't do it against Fernandes. He can't do it against De Bruyne. He can't do it against Foden. Players like that, Mason Mount, etc. They've all come back in the reverse games, and I think he's pocketed every single one of them in the reverse fixtures, and he's proven his point.
Yeah, he's been absolutely exceptional, honestly. And
I think he's our most important player. Easily.
Goes without.
People can say Raphinha's had a good season, first season in the Premier League, first season at Leeds, and he's quality-wise maybe he's our most exciting player, but I don't think Raphinha's our best player. I think for individual quality, I think Calvin's the most important person in this team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it goes without saying. I mean, when you take... Look, we've had Raphinha missing for 2 games and still got 2 points against top teams. Take Calvin out of them 2 games, we don't get any points.
No.
I'd be that strong to say that you replace Calvin with Struijk and put Cock at the... We don't get any points. And that's no slant on Struijk. He just can't play that role effectively enough as what Calvin says. You know, some Leeds fans will have to tell you he can, but no, he can't. You know, the proof is in the pudding. You can fucking see it with your own eyes.
I think he can play in that position. I just don't...
not to the level of what Calvin
can. No.
And I think people hear that sentence and feel offended by it. It's not a sentence you should be offended by because it's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's not an insult that's the truth. Like, it's like we'd look at Kevin De Bruyne and people would say, well, in certain aspects, if you look at one specific area, maybe whatever player can do certain things that he can do. But when it comes to the full package in the Premier League, there's no player that can do the full amount that Kevin De Bruyne can do. So being compared to them, it's nice. Struijk being compared to Calvin, it's good that we have those comparisons, but Calvin is the only player, I believe, in the Premier League as a whole that can do this role. I wouldn't take anyone else.
I think what I would say as well about the midfield is that almost going the other way, if you're thinking at the top end of the midfield, so obviously Calvin, we know how critical he is, but I think what I would say is you look at Click, Rodrigo, Dallas, Roberts, even Forshaw, if he's back fit. They're all kind of quite similar players. I wouldn't describe any of them as natural number 10s as such. I almost think that we know how critical Calvin is. Imagine what it would look like if we had that player alongside Dallas who can really give us that bit more creativity, almost like a mini De Bruyne kind of thing, who can give us that bit more goals from assists from midfield and craft. Because in that kind of game, to win that kind of game 1-0, you need that moment of quality, that pass. Almost to unlock the door and find a way of winning, and that's the one thing I'd say. Calvin's a specialist, and no one else can do that job. But I think the number 10 role in this kind of system is also a specialist role, and no one could do that job. And that's just where the recruitment now, where Victor Orta is the one who's going to really be the difference maker for us now. If you can find that next player in that area, but some backup for Calvin, I think is needed now. I do think that's the case as well.
I think as well, guys, we were talking just before about the changes in the pragmatism from Bielsa. I think when you look at the conversation that surrounded Leeds earlier in the season, now you look at the conversations we're all having today, I think it's really funny, actually. Like, we went for a long period of everyone saying, you concede far too many goals. It's not sustainable, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we have conceded a hell of a lot of goals. But when we played Man United last time, or when we played Chelsea the first time, or when we played Liverpool the first time, everyone was talking about we're so excited going forward. We're going to concede a lot of goals, but thankfully we can score too. So we're going to do the attacking part of the game well, but defensively we weren't good enough. Over the last 3 games in particular, or this run of 6 that we're now unbeaten, which we haven't been unbeaten in the Premier League for 6 games since 2002, man. Like, I know we haven't been in it for 16 years, but that is an achievement. And to do that and still be sat here at the end of that run and say, right, we've lost our what we probably all say is our most attacking, creative outlet in Raphinha. Rodrigo's our club record signing, and he's not there either. Stuart and Click and Phillips, like you've just said, Oscar, are more probably defensive minded than creative in the 10s. So we have actually managed to have very little attacking output on the pitch and still come away with 5 points from the last 3 games and 6 games. So it says a lot about Bielsa and being stubborn. He can't change. He won't speak English. Well, he does a lot more than people give him credit for. I mean, we all give him bags of credit anyway, but I think people, I mean, if I hear the word burnout, even though it was used sarcastically today, it was used sarcastically by the Sky commentators, and that's absolutely wonderful. But the only reason that you're saying it sarcastically is because you genuinely said it last year, and you were wrong then. You were wrong the first year. There is no such thing. Just what he's done. He's a genius.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice to see that trending on Twitter. Of course, Man United fans are going to come and say that, but do you know what? It's a derby. That's what we need. Full-blooded challengers. And there were some good challengers going in from Leeds. I prefer that. I want to see that.
They gave as good as they got as well, mate. They weren't exactly...
McTominay did. McTominay was putting it about. McTominay was putting it about. Guys, I'm just looking at the league table now. We're 6 points off 7th with 5 games left to go. Is there a chance that we get that top 7 spot, or is 6 points too tough to claw back with 5 games left? Oscar?
We still play Tottenham.
Depends on Raphinha. Depends on Raphinha for me, because I just look at it and say, if Raphinha's not on the pitch, because you look at the start of the season when we were winning games, we weren't winning games because of defensive solidity. It was because of the front three. Raphinha, Bamford, Harrison. Bang, bang, bang. Harrison, Bamford drops off a little bit. Raphinha's still at the same level. To do it, we need Raphinha. There's no doubt about that for me. I just don't think... In the games we've got coming up, obviously Brighton, defensively pretty solid, in terms of having Lewis Dunk, Ben White, Adam Webster, etc. We know they're pretty solid at the back. We probably do need that difference maker in the final third. And hopefully, if Raphinha is available, then why not? Why not? Because let's look at it. The teams that are above us are not exactly winning week in, week out.
No.
Liverpool are dropping points all the time. Tottenham.
I'm looking at Tottenham now, right? Tottenham have got Sheffield United, us, Wolves, Villa, and Leicester, right? If we beat them, it's conceivable. Look, I know we'd have to win the majority of our games that are coming left, but we have a decent running. We do have a decent running. I know you can't, take anything for granted in the Premier League, but we do have a decent running. And I just think 6 points now, the difference with 5 games left to go, still an instinct possibility. But as long as we finish above Arsenal and Villa, I'm good with that. What about you, Phil? Do you think it's surmountable?
In all honesty, mate, we were talking with Tash last week, weren't we? Saying I don't want to get ahead of myself. Like I'll enjoy it when it comes, but I'm not. It's not what I'm hoping for. I'm just happy with how it's going. But let's be honest. Look at some of the teams around us. Arsenal have got nothing to play for. They're on the beach now because you ain't getting. You're not getting anything. Even if you try and suddenly start turning it on, they're not getting top 4. They're not getting Europa League. Just stay where you are in 10th, where you belong. There is a lot of teams now that their season is very much over, and we still have to play them. Southampton, your season's over. West Brom, your season might not be over yet.
No, they're done, aren't they?
It's been over for a long time. Yeah. Brighton, the season's over. They ain't going down, but they ain't going any higher. A lot of these teams we still have left to play, their season is over. So I don't see why we can't. If we go unbeaten in the last 6 games, look, I don't expect us to go unbeaten 11 games, but with the whole Bielsa thing, we as a physical output team would be able to run every single one of these teams in the last 6 games. They will burn out far before we do.
And so how far are we off that Sheffield United target that you set, Phil? Huh?
7 points now. It's 54. So we're on 47. So if we get 7 points, we match it. And then if we get 9 points, we become the best newly promoted side in Premier League history.
Worth mentioning as well, in the reverse fixtures, we beat Southampton, we beat Brighton, we beat West Brom. We lost to Tottenham and...
We lost to Brighton, didn't we? 1-0.
Yeah.
Lost to Brighton. And we beat Burnley. We beat Burnley as well, so that's 12 points there.
But if you look at the aggregate score as well, like 5-0 West Brom, add you 3-0 on against Southampton, 1-0 against Burnley. There's the 9 points we need with an aggregate score of 9-0. Exactly. So I'd fancy us to get 9 points and at least be the best newly promoted side in history. Yeah, quite easily.
Love it. Guys, I'm just going to quickly now update the community tab with the membership link. So Don Level members, if you want to join us, you can now do. The link is available. Let's hear from you. Your thoughts on the run that we've had. Your thoughts on your man of the match, your player of the match. Just the match in general. We want you to come in, give us your points, and then we'll move on. Remember, after this as well, you'll have Oscar and Phil for the player ratings as well. The dream team, the duo that is Oscar and Phil. But yeah, I think, we've got Chris Kelly straight in the house. Let's get Chris Kelly in now. Welcome to the Don Level members. He's been waiting. He's been jumping at the bit. Let's hear from him. Chris, how you doing, mate?
He's got the guns out as well. He's got the guns out. I love that.
All good, boys. Yeah, bit hungover, but it is what it is. Yeah. Do you know what, Joe? You stole a lot of my thunder at the top of the show with you reeling your stats out about April and all the rest of it.
That's what I do.
I want to give everyone in the chat and everything food for thought. I've sat on this channel, as have others, and we've gone on about how crap the Big Six games are when they face each other. We've seen one today, a tactical battle where teams are just playing each other and it's chess. That's a real positive sign from a Leeds United point of view.
Yeah,
we're going up against these sides and they don't know how to beat us. Man United largely today look clueless. on how they were going to get a goal and beat us. We weren't great going forward. I thought off the ball today, we were absolutely superb to a man. Thought we grafted. On the ball, questionable. But this is the second place team we're playing here in the Premier League. 23 games away from home, unbeaten.
Yeah.
We've just had their winning run. Do you know what I mean? This is good signs. This club, and I agree with Oscar. I think we're the best placed club to take the next step. I really do. Spurs are done. If Kane and or Son go in the summer, Spurs are done. They're going into a rebuild. Arsenal are pump. Let's be clear. Arsenal are terrible. They've got some good young kids, but I'm not sure Arteta's the man to take them forward. But with transfer windows, we might see different. And they're obviously going to have big battles now with their ownership. I think we've got the structure right at the top of the club. We've got a manager now who clearly wants to stay and not just sign a one-year deal. He's talking 2 years, and that's never been done before by Marcelo Bielsa. This club's going places. I'm telling you what, if we don't hit 7th this season, we're all over Europe next year. All over it.
With 6 points, with 5 games left to play, Chris?
Yeah, I'm still saying we get 7th.
Good man. Let's do this. Let's fucking do this, man. We needed a positive result. We got it, and I'm bouncing, man. I know it wasn't the ideal, game, but how impressed was you with us from a defensive standpoint, Chris?
Do you know? And again, it's a point you guys have already been talking about. This team, a lot of big teams have 1 or 2 players that their team's built around, and our man is Calvin Phillips. Whether without the ball or with the ball, everything is through Calvin. Even if he doesn't touch it, he's doing something that affects how that play goes. He's dragging a man away, or he's stepping into defence so Llorente can take the ball forward. Whatever it may be, everything's around Calvin. I thought defensively today, I thought Alioski was superb today again. Potentially now that tops his last performance, and that's his best performance in the Leeds shirt for me. I thought he was brilliant today. Aylin, again, looked defensively more sound than what he was earlier in the season. I think he's improved massively through the season. Llorente's just a class act at centre-back.
Unbelievable.
Just getting whoever's facing him now, get yourself square in his pocket as we kick off. That's where you're going to be spending 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought Pascal was a lot stronger today than his previous performance as well. And Calvin was just absolutely superb.
It was Batty-esque today, wasn't it? Batty-esque.
Man of the match. He's put in the man that a lot of people are tipping to be the Premier League player of the season, and he put him firmly in his pocket for about 80 minutes before he was taken off him and put on someone else when Cox came on and they all shuffled a little bit. I thought Calvin.
And people question his inclusion. People question his inclusion at England level, and he's just pocketed Bruno Fernandes for 90 minutes.
Not all that, mate. People are questioning.
That's not based on the truth, though, is it? That's just.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, people do question it.
It's an anti-Leeds agenda. That's all.
That's not because they don't. Well, it can't be because they don't rate him as a footballer, because that's just a stupid thing to say.
I'm telling you now, majority of these teams. So even a Man City, Fernandinho's getting older now. Yeah. Any of these teams in and around the top 6 would love a Calvin Phillips. Yeah.
We spoke to Manchester United fans in the warm-up to this, and they were saying Calvin would be perfect for them.
Yeah, they'd all take him, mate. The whole lot of them. He's up there with Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a very good player.
Yeah.
But for me, with the way it looks like Southgate's going in the Euros, Calvin's starting. He's not just in the squad; he's starting.
Well, he was there again today, Chris, and he's got to be. He was there, and he's watched what he's just done to Bruno for 90 minutes. He's got to be impressed by that.
He's got to me. Not just. He wasn't just our man of the match. For me, he was the man of the match.
The man of the match, yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, he was miles ahead of anyone.
Do you know who got it from Sky?
You what?
Do you know who Sky gave it to?
I didn't see, mate. I'm not sure.
No, I didn't see it come up, to be honest.
I didn't see it anyway. Surely it's got to go to him anyway. Surely.
You'd be.
I'd make a case for Llorente. To be honest, I'd still say Llorente in that first 25 minutes was like, I've not seen anything. I've genuinely not seen anything like that from a Leeds defender in that first 25 minutes since. I'm not going to say his name, but a Leeds defender that went to Man United at the start of the 2000s. I've honestly not seen anything like it in terms of just unbelievable what he was doing. Everything he was doing, he was just taking responsibility for everything. It was almost like, Van Dijk-esque in terms of how composed he was, in terms of what he was doing. It's almost like Diego Van Dijk or whatever we want to call him, but he was unbelievable today.
It's no coincidence, Oscar, that with Llorente behind him, it's making Calvin a better player.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got that surety that he's got a world-class centre-back stood behind him as well. And it frees Calvin to go off and do his thing and not be like, oh, Jesus, do you know what I mean? What's going on behind me?
Yeah, exactly. Would Calvin have been your man of the match, Chris?
Yeah, mate. My streets miles ahead of anyone else. Even Llorente, who was absolutely superb as well. But do you know what? I'll say it now. Before player ratings, Calvin's 10. A 10 for me.
Yeah. I'm not doing player ratings, but I was going to say before I go, Calvin gets a 10 from me. Llorente 9. I think Llorente was exceptional. I thought Luke Ayling was great as well. To be fair, let's bring in Ben. Let's get Ben Timpson in, another one of the Don level members. How's it going, Ben? What are your thoughts, brother?
Oh, just first of all, congrats, Phil.
Thank you, mate.
Great news. I think Marcelo's got to be a contender, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, trust me, I've tried so hard.
Marcelo Miles. It's got a ring to it, hasn't it? Marcelo Miles.
Well, everyone was saying if it was a girl, Isabel's a good anagram of Bielsa, so I had that in there.
Oh.
She wouldn't let me have that either, to be honest. But
really? I like Isabel. It's nice.
I think she's got a little Leeds United thing in there lined up for me, and it wasn't my suggestion. So if it goes in there, then I'm happy.
Bill,
nice.
No,
Bill.
She likes the name Elland as a middle name, like Elland Road.
Right.
I mean, I personally think it's shit, but if she's going to let me have something in there, I'll take it.
But South Stand is the middle name instead.
Yeah, fine.
No, just what a cracking. Honestly, I've got so much going through my head. You've covered it anyway, but just let's remember. I mean, Chris sort of touched on it there. That let's remember that, unless I'm mistaken, bar Llorente today, again, we keep harking back to this. We will stop, I'm sure, next season. But that was the championship team. That was the championship team. You know, a draw at Chelsea, drew at Liverpool, beat Man City, draw against the scum. I mean, even the most optimistic Leeds fan wouldn't have said, yeah, that's going to happen this season.
No, yeah.
And KP just again, just amazing. I wonder if this all comes from the fact that the belief system from the top down is there so much, and that's why this group of average players, as we keep you'd be reminded that by commentators and that and pundits, I just think that these teams will just run through a wall for the badge, and it makes all the difference when, I mean, we are making world-class players week in, week out now look ordinary.
Yeah. It's not just that they will run through brick walls for a badge, it's that they physically can as well. That's the difference, I think, especially going into the last few games of the season between us and teams like Tottenham that we're going to play and teams like Southampton. I mean, Hasenhüttl plays a similar style a little bit to Bielsa, who likes a high press, but we saw in the game that we played against them, they couldn't keep theirs up. We genuinely can. We will run absolutely every team in this division into the ground.
There's levels to this, though. They're 20th in the form table. Ralph's rabbit up his gash, man. There's levels to this game, Phil.
But that's what I mean. It's about the physical demands that he puts on the players when it comes to training. Like, if you listen to different podcasts of, like, you know, Peter Crouch has got his own, or Ben Foster's got one, and you hear about the training routine that every other club has, and then you listen to like the Leeds United one with Bamford on it. If you listen to Leeds United podcasts and you hear they're not going into training for 2 hours. Theirs is a genuine 9-to-5 job like all of us have. They are not being treated like celebrities that are just here for a couple of hours to dick around and then go play a game on a weekend. They're going into work and they're being worked hard. And this is why. This is the reward of the effort they put in during the week. So 90 minutes to them against Man United, it won't even be a test for them because they do murder ball for 100 minutes instead. And that's 10 times as hard as playing Man United. So they don't care. They can physically do all of this every week.
There was a.
let's just quickly. I just want to ask the panel really that we've got on. Remember, Don Level members, you can come join us. The link is now available to Don Level members. Russ Vernon's put a question in: pen or not against Luke Shaw? I've seen Michael Owen and Paul Scholes thought it was a pen. He also thought it was a pen. I'll just give you my 2 penneth. I think it's very, very soft. I don't think it is a pen. Chris, you?
According to the rules, it isn't a pen, but the rules are a nonsense. So it should be a handball, but because the rules are a nonsense, it actually isn't. So I agree, no pen under the current rules.
Okay.
The problem is, it hits.
What say you, Ben?
It hits his arm and Costa's in if it doesn't hit his arm for a chance. So it should be handball, but yeah, if we're going by the rule book, mate, currently it isn't. So yeah.
Has that changed yet, though? Are they not? I thought.
See, I think it's soft either way, regardless of the rules. I think he's moving it away. He's not put his arm towards the ball.
I think the rules are
moving it away.
I think there's too many rules around handball. If it hits your hand, it's handball. Let's just go back to the old school. It hit your hand, it's handball. There you go, clears it all up.
No, but they did that at the start of the season, and we got a penalty against Koch that wasn't an handball because it was if it touches your arm anywhere, regardless of momentum or what you think it was given as a pen, and it was a joke. But about 4 penalties in the first fucking 2 games. Do you know what I mean? It's a joke. I think it needs to be intentional, and I think the fact that Luke Shaw's moving it away, I don't think it's a pen personally. I think the ref was shocking throughout the game. He gave. There was times I remember there was a tackle on the end of the bed, on the end of the bed.
I was going to say
at the edge of the box, right? There was a tackle at the end of the bed. I didn't even realise I'd done that. Hey, love, what's that tackle doing at the end of our bed? Anyway, it was a manscaped tackle though, so that's the main thing.
Oh, shameless!
It was shiny. It was shiny and smelling
it was
nice.
a shiny tackle. Our lass just went, just go back to sleep, Joe. Just ignore it. I'm joking, of course. There was a tackle from Strauch on Greenwood. The ref wasn't even looking, right?
Yeah, and he still gave it.
And then Greenwood went, ah!
Yeah.
And then he blew his whistle.
Yeah.
I literally saw it with my own eyes. He wasn't looking at the
same
challenge.
thing a few minutes later when the bench asked for one and he gave it.
Yeah,
because the bench
there was a
asked
huge, there was a huge delay there. I was screaming at the telly. I was like, "That is actually just pressure coming from all the players and the sidelines."
said that. Carragher said on Sky, he was like, "The referee is just giving free kicks because the bench is asking."
He did say that. Yeah, I heard him say that.
There's another one where another one of our wingers has had to go off injured because he's basically been power slammed. And
do you remember Salah and Ramos in the Champions League final?
Yeah.
That was basically what's just happened to Helder Costa.
Wan Biscuits basically picks him up and throws him to the deck.
Yeah. And actually, it was like a backbreaker. He like broke his back against him. He went like that. You know what I mean? It was literally backbreaker vibes.
It was a suplex. I thought I'd switched over to like WWE by mistake. It was ridiculous.
You imagine Harry Maguire in Hulk Hogan's shorts? That'd be brilliant.
Guys, let's just pick up. What did we make to the mark? I just want to pick up on this because I thought it was pretty fucking pants, right? The marking from Pascal Strauch for Harry Maguire throughout the game for me was a little bit suspect at corners. I think we looked a little bit dodge at times from marking. Anyone have any opinions?
Very dodge, I'd say. We got better. We got better as the game went on. What I loved from Ilan Mele was you could see we had a bit of a problem. And what a proper goalkeeper does. None of this, the great shot stoppers nonsense and that lot. He went out there, claimed it, didn't punch it, claims 2 massive corners late on in the game. And he saw the problem and he went out there and was a bit more aggressive on it. But yeah, Pascal just lost his man, didn't he? Just lost Maguire a couple of times. There's one where Maguire almost volleys it into the back of the net early doors, but that was probably their best chances came from that in the game. Yeah. Came from just that, and Pascal sorted it out second half. They obviously had the discussion, and we sorted it out, I thought, second half. You could say maybe the delivery wasn't quite as good, but I thought we did all right with it in the end.
100%. Let's bring in Ethan in. Ethan's been late. He's been eating his dinner. I don't know what the hell he's been doing. A nice Sunday lunch, maybe, but he's been eating his... Hey?
Yeah, it was.
Nice. Was it nice?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. How was the game for you today, Ethan? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who? Do you think? Are you happy with a point at home against Manchester United, or would you prefer all 3?
Where you going now?
Eh? You're happy with the point, yeah?
Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, good man. Who was your man of the match today? Do you agree with the rest of the panel? Was it Calvin?
No.
No, who?
Righty.
Lorente, really? There, he agrees with Oscar. Good shout. You and Oscar like that, man.
I didn't think Calvin was bad, by the way, just to point out, but Llorente was slightly better.
Getting wrung out
I
in
heard
the
you
comments,
said that,
Oscar.
Calvin.
I know. I was anticipating that.
Yeah.
Did you, Oscar? Did you just say Calvin Phillips is shit? I swear I heard you say that.
Oscar, if you compare Calvin's performance to that Everton one, it's better. And we gave him a 10 at Everton.
Oh, some of the stuff he was doing in that Everton game, some of them passes he was playing in that Everton game, where every single time he was just like literally, just everything he was doing. He was literally Pirlo in that Everton game. I'm not sure. It's probably. I could make a case for it, but it's just a level down. From Everton one.
But I think today, I tend to agree, Joe, because I think his sole purpose in life for 90 minutes today was you go out there and you put him in your pocket, and he absolutely nailed it.
His post-match on Sky.
No.
When we were talking about man of the match before, I went on Sky to try and find who they've given it to. I still can't see it yet, but on his post-match press conference with Sky Sports, he said, "We man mark every game. I tried to keep Bruno quiet. Thankfully, he didn't pop up with a goal, so my job is all right. More vulnerable if we don't pick up wide men. It's the way we play. The attack is used to the marking and pressing." So in a nutshell, he should have pocketed Bruno Fernandes on Sky.
Yeah, which he did, didn't he? He did with ease. He did with absolute ease, to be fair to him.
You could tell we'd done a job on him, because I've got it written down in like a very long list of like notes that I've taken, that after about 70 minutes, they were just kicking people. They were throwing thrombies. They were sulking with the ref. They got done over. They didn't know what to do.
No.
Yeah, Greenwood's a stroppy player, isn't he? I've noticed that recently. He's he throws a right strop.
And James as well. But what I would say is to Fernandes, is you look at it compared to the start of the season when Calvin was given that role, he didn't do it well, did he? Fernandes pops up with 2 goals, with 2 assists, was it, Joe?
Yeah.
Game. Look at Salah. Salah on Monday night. Salah scored a hat-trick against us earlier in the season. We looked terrified of these players earlier in the season. Yeah, these superb players, like Phil Foden, that lot. But each time they come back, Mason Mount was brilliant at Stamford Bridge against us. Didn't get a kick in the second game. We're learning from it. That's the big thing. We're learning against these players how to stop them. Yeah, we're adapting all the time. But that's why, for me, as I said earlier in the thing, we're the team that's best placed to kick on outside that's top 6 at this moment in time. I still genuinely believe that. For that reason.
Just want to shout out Mark Hallard, who's joined us as Sergeant Wilco level member. Nice to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. Remember, Don level members can come and join us on our live post-match. We've not got as much as we had last week, but we've got the originals. We've got the main 3. So that's the main thing. Ethan, Ben, and Chris Kelly. Maybe they'll join Oscar and Phil on the player ratings. Guys, is there anything else? Any burning desires? Anything anyone else wants to mention?
I've got 2 notes on Dan James. One from the first half. Dan James is a crybaby.
Yeah.
One on the second half. Dan James is still a crybaby.
I thought you were going to pull out. Here's what I made earlier, a little drawing.
Pie chart.
I think there was a lot of that though, weren't they? Greenwood, Dan James. I think them 2 were the main culprits for me. I don't think I've seen a lot of people mentioning Bruno diving, and I don't think he was the main culprit for me. I think it was Greenwood, it was Dan James. But to be fair, there was a lot of times when you did see the second replay, Leeds were putting it amongst them. Calvin put people in the bin, but I thought Scott McTominay was doing the same for them. And there's 2 lads that are local to their club that understand it, and want to get it. Well, I say local. Scott McTominay's Scottish, isn't he? But through their youth system, etc., and they get it. It's good.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna say is the fact that if we are going to be as ineffective attacking as say today we are, a little bit toothless, then if we can defend like that, then that's what obviously makes great teams, isn't it? So it's there, it's in place, it's looking good. Apart from Pascal's sort of things I just think he's most improved player over the season, just unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan agrees. I think for me it'd have to be Stewie D. Because the trajectory that man's been on is crazy. But I suppose I don't know if you could class him within that bracket. You might be right with Pascal, to be fair. I think you make a great point, Ben. I think when we're going up against Southampton, West Brom, we can open up. We'll create many more chances. I think it's good because even I was, like Phil said earlier, I was one of them guys that has said previously, Bielsa won't change. However, he has made tweaks. He has changed. We're staying in games against the big boys now. We're undefeated against the big six at home. We're undefeated in April. We haven't lost in 6 games. That's huge for a newly promoted side. And if we can't get top 7...
I'll tell you something. If Diego Llorente doesn't get Premier League Player of the Month, then it shows the bias against defenders and those kind of things. Because I can't think of a player who's put together 4 better performances than him in the last month or so across the league. Maybe Phil Foden. I'd still say Llorente.
I'm going to go from that on Oscar's point onto a different point, which is kind of very fitting for this week to round this week off. The refereeing today and the refereeing against Man City. I'm not going to blame a referee for the Liverpool game. I don't think there was anything terribly wrong with the Liverpool ref. But are we ever going to get a game against a Manchester club where we don't finish the game thinking, why do we always have to play against 12 men? Why do decisions just seem to go to these teams? And it's not something that's new, not something that the ESL's thought about. This has been going on for 20 odd years, and thankfully for us, it's not robbed us over these 2 games. But Man City, I thought that was the worst refereeing performance I'd seen all season. And then today, I don't know whether it was worse or not, but at least the Man City game, that's what I mean. Like the Man City game, at least we saw some periods of football. Today, I don't think I saw more than 30 seconds without that whistle in his mouth. Honestly, he yearned for that whistle to be in his mouth constantly. It was pathetic to watch.
And it's the pressure from big game players, from big game benches, from certain individuals. Like I said, there were times you weren't even fucking watching, and he was giving away free kicks because the player was on the deck.
But the job's supposed to be easier. With no fans in the ground, it's supposed to be less pressure, less fans shouting for things and all this lot. The job will never be any easier for these referees. They've got VAR in the system. They've now got no fans in the ground. There should be nothing like that in terms of external factors or any emotion of it now. They should just be able to referee a game objectively. If that's serious though, that they made a decision based on what the bench shouted, then that's the game's in a lot of trouble. If that's what it's getting to now, that these big 6 teams or whatever team we play, if they're putting that's weak refereeing as well. I think you should go the other way. I think you should be harsher. I think you should say, all right, shout all you want, you're not getting a decision. That's the referees. You see the referees in the past, like the Jeff Winter and all this lot, hard referees. They weren't bothered. They didn't care what other people thought about them as referees and that lot. No. I just think the referees are too soft now. I think
they're too soft, mate, and they should be held accountable. They should do post-match interviews for me.
They used to, didn't they? They used to, I think, on Sky back in the day. I'm pretty sure they did for a bit.
They should be made accountable. I'm just watching the City Tottenham game here, and there's fans in the ground, and it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see. So hopefully, very soon we'll all get to see Leeds back at Ellen Road, and it'd have been some atmosphere today, being able to sample that. Anyone else want to add anything before we tie it up? All good. Still on. All good. Thank you as always, everyone, for watching. Please check out Manscaped. You can get yourself some Manscaped kit. I think, to be fair, looking at Ben's beard, he needs to get some. So get some bought, Ben.
Oh, right, come on. That's precision, mate. That's precision.
You must have used Manscaped. You must already have it then.
Sky of Give It Luke Shaw.
Hey?
Sky of Give It Luke Shaw.
What?
Bullshit.
What?
That's bullshit.
That's outrageous.
Don't get me wrong, he was one of their better players, but he wasn't man of the match. That's absolutely crazy. No way.
Let's all just turn off now, guys. This isn't worth it.
Yeah, big 6 bias. No way was he man of the match. Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping. Not shitting, shipping. Promo code AllLeadsTV, uk.manscaped.com. You too can look like Mr. Phil Miles. Check that out. So remember, you can look like Phil Miles by just getting yourself some Manscaped kit. So make sure you do that. Thank you, as always, for watching. We're going to play that track. Remember, Oscar, what time are you going live for player ratings, mate?
We'll say 5:30, guys. We'll say 5:30. We're going to put the poll up now, guys. We're going to put the poll up now. So get your votes in if you are a YouTube member. And yeah, we will go live at 5:30.
Oscar will be back with you at 5:30. I'm going for a lay down. I'm going to wait for Line of Duty to come on and just chill out. So thank you, as always. Oscar, someone said on the stream the other day as well, you look like that bent copper from Line of Duty. And you actually do. You do. Do you watch it?
Yeah, I do, actually.
You do look like him. It's a great shout. Anyway, peace out. Join us. Monday Night Football. I don't know who's coming on yet, but I'll sort it out. Okay?
Play that track.
Bye.